Today is Sunday, August 4th, 2013. My name is Jaime Rios. I'm interviewing Miguel Medina, who's going to tell us a little bit about Longmont history, personal history, the history of his business in the community. This interview is being recorded for the Boulder County Latino History Project and the Maria Rogers Oral History Program. The interview is being filmed by Salvador Serrano. We'll go ahead and get started here, and we'll start from the beginning. Tell us a little bit about when and where you were born.
I was born in Puerto Rico in 1937.
And what was it like in Puerto Rico?
Well, Puerto Rico, it was tough. Puerto Rico was at that time was really poor country, and we grew up as a it was like you didn't have no recreation. There was nothing there. Just play with the brothers and sisters, and my father worked really hard to try to support the family and everything. But thanks to the good Lord, we made it.
Okay. Tell us a little bit more about your father. What kind of work did he do? What was he like?
Well, my father was a farmer. He was a farmer, and he did at the beginning. I remember he worked outside, different jobs, and then he started farming. He used to grow tobacco. He grew a lot of tobacco, and then after that, my father was a good man. He helped a lot of people, and that's how I already remember that. And then after that, he came to the United States. He came to Cleveland, Ohio, and to pay some debt, because he had a lot of debt. And then from there, and then in 1954, he brought me to Ohio.
And how about your mother? What was she like? And
my mother? Well, unfortunately, my mother left me when I was about a year old. So I didn't get to meet her when I was 12 years old.
How about your grandparents? Did you interact with your grandparents at all?
Just my grandfather and my father's side. Yeah, we had some time together. Yeah.
What types of things would you do with him, and what was he like?
Well, he was really nice. I don't remember. I was kind of small, but we used to go to his house quite a bit, and he also was a farmer, but he had 21 kids and 2 marriages.
And did you have any brothers or sisters?
Yeah, I got 16 brothers and sisters.
Any stories to tell there, or about your brothers and sisters?
What?
Any stories to tell there about your brothers?
Well, not too much, because my some of my brothers, they were in my mother's side, because my mother was married before she married my father. So there was, and the other side, and I didn't get to meet them. And like I said, when I was about 12 years old, I started making contact with them and meeting them. And my other sibling, there's not too much to tell.
Did you have any earlier relatives that weren't of Hispanic descent? Any grandparents or great-grandparents that weren't Hispanic or anything?
From Spain, you mean?
Yeah, well, yeah. Was anybody from Spain or maybe Europe?
Well, my grandmother and my father's side were from Spain.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you talked about it a little bit, but what was it really that caused your father to bring you and the family out here?
Well, my father, I guess he wanted me to help him out. I thought he was going to put me in school when he brought me to the United States, but he had a different ideas. So he put me to work. He put me to work, and I was only about 16. He lied about my age, so I could go to work. But yeah, I did work. But then somebody find out that I was working underage, and they reported him, and he had to take me out from work and put me in school. But it only lasted about 3 months. Then everything passed. He took me out again and put me to work again.
What type of work were you doing at that time?
Well, I was doing like, I was working at a tree farm, and that's the first job that I had. And then he put me to work in the company that he was working for, and that was like a year, 2 years of working there.
What type of values were important to your family when you were growing up?
Well, you know, I think that the things that I remember when I grew up is just to respect the older, obey, do what you're supposed to do. And, you know, I was grew up, I wasn't supposed to look at older people in the face. I was supposed to just, you know, put my head down, or if my father was talking to somebody, I had to stay away. You don't know, you know, it's not like now. You know, now, you know, you're talking to your father and you say something and the kid coming out, hey, father, you're lying. Then, you know, there's no respect now. There's no respect now, you know. I never forget that, and I wish that those times come back again, because now there's no respect.
What languages did you speak at home when you were a child?
Spanish.
Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
Did you feel like your family had a lot of Hispanic pride in your heritage while you were growing up?
At that time, I don't think there was, growing in Puerto Rico, you don't hear news, you don't hear anything. You just live day by day and try to make it up, make the day. So to survive, yeah. But there was no, I guess now, like, I feel proud to be a Puerto Rican. But at that time, I didn't even know what that was.
When you were young, were boys treated differently than girls in households?
Oh, yeah. It was, like, girls mostly keep separate from the boy. I mean, no, but there was, I think the respect, it was a little bit different, because now, it's different, it was not, when I grew up.
Tell us a little bit about your education and what school was like when you were growing up.
Well, my education is only 4th grade, so I didn't get to go to school. One thing that I wish my father could have put me to school, because, I was, in those 4 years, I think I learned a lot. I was a really good student, and I wish I could have went on, but the situation, and in 4th grade, I had to walk probably 5 miles to go to school, and it was tough. And I used to get up on the summit like 6 o'clock in the morning, do the housework, whatever I had to do, and then go to school, work 5 miles. And when I got there, I was starving, I was hungry, and then my luck was, you get in line because they get you free lunch, but when I was maybe the second or third one down, they run out of food, so I had to stay hungry the whole day. But I survived.
That would have been in Puerto Rico?
Yeah, in Puerto Rico, yeah.
This would have been a little bit before your time, but do you remember your father talking about the Great Depression and how it would have affected anyone in Puerto Rico?
No, I don't remember that.
Okay. We're going to a little bit more about changing subject here a little bit and talking more about spouses. In what settings did young men and women socialize together when you were young? Where would young men and women come together?
Well, like I said, there wasn't that much to do. Just play around in the house or in school, like when you go to school, they play a little bit, but we didn't go any places, we didn't go no parties, we didn't have anything like that right now.
But tell us a little bit about your spouse and how you met.
Huh?
Tell us a little bit about your wife and how you met.
Well, I was married before I met her. I was married in Cleveland, and matter of fact, she just passed away about a week ago, right? She passed away about a week ago, and we had 8 kids together. Yeah, 8 kids, and in 1967, she decided she had enough, and she took off and left me with the kids. And she was pregnant, took 1 kid with her, and I had to raise my kids, 7 kids, and that was sad. That was a big job for me. I was going crazy. I didn't know what to do, and then in Cleveland, I was living in Cleveland. Then people, some people sometimes don't understand. They was asking my kids question on how that happened, what happened, all that stuff, and I felt, my kids don't have to tell that. So I took off and moved to Chicago, just like that, without thinking where I was going. I didn't have no apartment to go. I don't have nothing to do. I just took off and went to Chicago, and I had a really, really, really hard time. It was tough. It was really, really tough.
What was it like for so did your children grow up primarily in Chicago or in Colorado or?
No, they grew up in Chicago. Mm-hmm.
And what was it like for them growing up there in Chicago?
Well, when we got there, like I say, I had an uncle, and I went and asked him if he could find a place to live. So they found me a place to live, and it was hard. I went to tried to find a job. I didn't have no job. Like I say, I went like crazy, and tried to help kids, 7 kids. The older one was 9 years old, and the younger one was, I think, a year or 18 months, something like that. And then I couldn't find no help. I tried to find help. They told me to go to welfare. They said, no, you have to be a resident a year before you could get help in welfare. And then I went to the church, see if they could help me. No help. It was like it was a test from God. And I needed help to go, to go to work. So trying to find somebody to take care of my kids, nobody offered. And one time I offered a lady $60 a week if she could take care of my kids. She said no. So it was really, 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 really tough. So I used to go to work, wake up morning, have the kids ready and stuff like that. And my kids, the older one was 9 years old. He was helping me out, take care of the kids. But it was tough. I was at work, but I don't know what I was doing. My mind was fell source, and like I said, I couldn't get enough help. So finally, somebody told me to go to juvenile court. So I went to juvenile court, and I explained to the judge, what was going on, and he told me, well, I don't know how you're doing it, but I'm going to get you some help. So they got to connected with Catholic Charity, and a fellow came in, and I remember he was missing one hand. And when I talked to him, he said, God bless you. I don't know. I don't think this is possible. So he said, well, I'm going to help you. So what he did, to make it short, he found a place to put my kids, a school. And then he said, but it's going to be hard to put them all together because one's younger and the 5. But he did, God bless him, he put the 5 older ones, he put them in an orphanage, I think they call them, I don't know, it's like a school. And then, when I took those kids over there, broke my heart. I left my heart up there with them, it was really tough. Then I had 2 little ones, and I had to find, foster home, what they call for that for them. But I promised my kid there we get them out in fire. And thank the God, pray the Lord, I did. I got them out in 5 years. But I never failed my kids. I was there every single week. 1 week I go see them, and one day I bring them home, one day I go see them. So I live for my kids. I live, and I was afraid to something happened to me, because then I didn't know what will happen to them. I was really scared.
Tell us a little bit about some of the different work you've done and the businesses you own. Tell us a little bit about some of the work you've done and the businesses that
Okay,
you own.
well, first of all, like I said, I work on the farm, and then I found a job in a company, a factory. They used to make alternators and stuff, where they have contract with the government to make alternators, and I mean, it was electrical stuff. And then after that, I worked there like maybe 12 years. And then when my wife decided to take off, that I came to Chicago, I find job in a bakery. Oh God, that was tough. They had me working outside in the cold weather, greasing the pans so they could, so the bread don't stick to the pan. And I tell you, sometimes that temperature was below zero. And it was just a cover there. It was open space. And I tell you, but I don't know. I didn't feel the call at that time, because my mind was someplace else. Think about the kids, but that was tough. I will never forget that. And then after that, I was lucky enough to find a job selling cookware. I used to sell cookware, and then after that, I straightened myself out. I started working pretty hard, and I was still good. I did good selling cookware. I was the #1 salesman every single month for a year or 2 years. So that really got me, going, and tried to do my kids, take care of my kids, go back and forth. And the company was in Wisconsin, in Milwaukee, and I was driving from Chicago to Wisconsin like once a week, because I had to make reports and take the orders and stuff like that. But thanks God, I did really good. That really got me out of the miseries.
I remember going to Casa Medina as a kid and buying things. Tell us a little bit about Casa Medina and.
Well, that's a big story. Casa Medina is a landmark in Longmont. So that it's funny how that I started that. I used to work at Kmart here in Longmont when they opened, and I was working there, and I worked there. I started there because I had a hard time, finding a job here in Colorado when I came in, because I came with the company out of Wisconsin, but it didn't work out. It didn't do too good. So one day I was walking downtown. I was walking in the alley east of Main Street, and when I got to 3rd Avenue, I saw a little space there. It said for rent, and I went in, and I asked the guy in charge. It was the American Legion, and I asked, how much was the rent? And he told me $125 a month. And I said, well, that sounds good to me. And I rent the place. I didn't even tell my wife about it. I rent the place, and I opened up, and I had some connection in Chicago, people that I know. So I went, I called Chicago, and I asked him that I was going to open a business, and I want to open a record shop, music. So the guy, he knew me, so he said, I'll help you out. So I started that business with 75 LP, because at that time there was no cassette, no 8-track, nothing LP. And that's how I started my business, with 75 LPs. And I remember the first day that I opened, I stayed there like 12 hours. I sold 26 cents the whole day. And I never forget this. I sold a 9-volt battery, those cheap one, and 1 cent tax. I never forget that. But you know, I did that. But I had a, you know, in Chicago I used to work in TV and radio. And when I came here, and there was a Spanish radio in Denver, so I made connection with them, and I started advertising on the radio, and the business just took off. You know, it just took off. I had like maybe a little, maybe 12 by 12 was, it was small, really small. I mean, 3 people there, and the store was full. And thanks to the good Lord, in a year, I moved to a place with 22,000 square feet. Or 2,200, not 22,000, 2,200 square feet. And, you know, and thanks to that, everything went up working good. And I was there for 28 years. 28 years I had this store.
What year was it that you started that?
Huh?
What year was it that?
1977.
And you were already with your wife? You had already met your wife. Where did you meet your current wife? Was that in Chicago?
In Chicago, yeah. Yeah, we met in a television show, was it, right? Yeah, TV show, yeah. She used to work on a TV show, and I went there to advertise the cookware that I was working, and that's how we met. Well, she's my angel. She saved me. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How did that go over when she found out about your business?
Well, the story is how she found out about 8 kids. 7 kids. Yeah, because you know that's one thing. I never hide my kids for no woman, nobody. You know, after that happened, if a lady wanted anything with me, she had to accept my kids. So I told her right away. You know, I told her that I had some kids, and she say, 1, say no, 2, no, and then we went up to. I told her the truth, you know. She almost fell. So, and you know, but she, thank the good Lord, you know, she accepted, and we've been together for how many years? 43.
43 years.
43 years for us, and we raised the kids. Thank the good Lord, they're all doing fine. So, it's a story. Yeah.
Do you have any grandchildren?
Oh, 28.
28.
20 grandchildren, 12 great-grandchildren.
Do they all live in the area here?
Some of them, but most of them are out, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you have anyone in the family that's ever served in the military?
Yeah, I have 2 of my sons, and I think 3 of my brothers did. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to join, but at that time, I didn't know no English, so they didn't take me. I wanted to join the Air Force. I want to go, yeah.
Were you the first person in your family to come to Boulder County, or do you already have some other family out here?
We're in Boulder County?
Yeah.
No, I'm the only one.
The only one.
I wouldn't know anybody when we came here.
No.
Mm.
And it was the company that you were working with that brought you out here at first?
Yeah, I knew. The only guy that I knew was the fellow that I used to work with in Chicago. That he moved here, opened an office, and that's how. He used to call me every weekend to come over here to work for him because he know how good I did in Chicago. So he used to bug me every weekend. So one time I decided I want to go see what it's like, and I came. And I came in a really, really big snowstorm. In Nebraska, cut me a big storm. I couldn't drive through. I had to stay there. I was going to drive through. And then, unfortunately, I got a really bad throat infection. I got really sick. When I got here, I had a really, really high temperature. I was really, really sick. I had to go to the doctor right away. And then after that, the office was in Lakewood. And I started, start to build, to build up. But the people that was working before, they didn't do a good job. So that's why the company fell. So when I came in, the company was going down already.
Sounds like you've lived in Ohio, Chicago, and Colorado. Have you seen any differences in the way Hispanics are treated in any of the different areas?
Well, I know in Chicago, I mean Cleveland, it was little. They didn't like the Spanish people. Let's put it that way. I remember one time there was a couple Spanish people, Puerto Rican. It was mostly Puerto Rican. They were talking, and they called the police on them just because they were talking in the street. And another time, my father went to a store to try to buy a refreshment, and somebody came in and hit him with a pool stick. We're playing pool, with no reason whatsoever. And one thing that happened to me that I will never forget, I was married and I had like 2, 3 kids. I went to, they had a sign in the house that said for rent. And I went to ask, for the rent. The lady came out, I tell them, if she had a house for rent and how much was it. And she took me right out to say, we don't rent to no dogs and no Puerto Rican and dogs, she told me. I think I could have felt better if she could have slapped me in the face. But that really, really hurt me. And I will never forget it, never forget that.
What was sentiment like in Chicago towards Hispanics?
Well, in Chicago, I didn't have no problem at all whatsoever. Only one time I was walking down the alley and this car coming and it stopped right in front of me, the brake. And he asked me, where you from? I said, from Puerto Rico. He said, can you prove it? I say, no. And he took off.
So do your children and grandchildren today, do they speak Spanish or English at the home?
No, they speak mostly English. Mostly. Yeah, and they understand a little Spanish too, but not that much. And, sometimes I blame myself. But, when I was raising my kids, I was so busy. I mean, in Ohio, I had 3 jobs in order to support them because, it was really, really hard. And I was working really, really hard. And that's tough. But, here in Longmont, after I opened the business, I got to do better, and I got involved in the community. I belong to the Longmont Multicultural committee, and I used to do. I was on the board for the senior citizen. I'm at the steering committee for the multicultural plan. Multicultural. I even forgot it because I haven't been there since. Because I got sick and then my wife got sick, and so I haven't been involved like I used to. And I used to go to the community involvement. We had a club there, and I always, I've been involved in the community. I was involved really, and I'm also, a lot of people know, but I'm the founder of the Latino Chamber of Commerce. I started that. And 2002, I think it was, something like that. And thanks God it's still going on. I haven't been able to keep a track of what's going on and everything like that because, I got really sick for 2 years. And now my wife got sick about 2 years ago, and December 24th, she had a stroke. So, it's been tough for me to get involved.
So you've been talking a little bit right now about your involvement, and you were talking earlier about how your business, Casa Medina, was kind of a hub for Spanish speakers and somewhere where they got the latest news and stuff. Tell us a little bit more about that, how Casa Medina was kind of a social hub for Spanish people.
Well, like I said, we knew Spanish, and then there was no other place to go. That was the only Spanish place that they could go. So we help a lot of people. We help. They came in and like I say, where to find a doctor or a dentist or a lawyer, or where to pay this bill, or where to catch the bus. And one time a fellow came in and asked me, where to catch the bus. And to make it look better, I get out of the store and I went down, outside, and went the street, and I point to him where to go. And I said, go to that block and turn left, and then you turn right. And then in the corner you catch the La Guagua. And he didn't say anything, then he looked at me. Oiga, señor, ¿pero qué es La Guagua? Y yo le digo, no, perdona, el camión. Porque en Puerto Rico they say guagua.
Did you run into any other differences like that? So that was like the difference in language between like
Oh,
Mexican,
yeah,
Spanish, and
yeah.
Puerto Rican?
It happened to her. One time, they were from Guatemala, and they came to the store, and they were outside, and they were talking to themselves, go in, just speak Spanish. I said, no, she looked like a gringa. Go Spanish. They said, no. And then finally they stay there, and she came out, came out with the out and went outside. Le said, ¿le puedo ayudar? I said, yo te dije que hablaba español. That lot of thing happened to us. Another thing that we did too, it was kind of nice too. There was a fellow here in Longmont, and he was here in Longmont, and he didn't contact his father in Mexico like for 3 months. And then his father took off from Mexico, came to find him. And he came to Denver, and I guess he asked a driver, somebody there that worked out to get a bus to get to Longmont. And they explained to him. And when he coming down Main Street in the bus, he saw the sign say Casa Medina. And he said to himself, they must speak Spanish here. So he got up and came. He had a little luggage with him. And, he came to the store and asked if we would speak Spanish. He told me yes. And he told us the story. He said, I'm looking for my son. It's been 3 months that I haven't heard from him. And my wife is really, really worried, and we don't know that. And we say, we will help you. We try to help you. So we try making connection. But the only thing he had was a P.O. box. So she went to the post office to try to see if they give address. They said, no, we cannot give you an address. We didn't know that. And then he showed a picture of him. And the picture we saw, there was it was a trailer where he was living at. And we saw the picture of the trailer, and we knew where the trailer was. It wasn't the, south side, with those trailers up there. So she took off with him and took him over there. And she asked, a lady came in and she asked if they knew him. She said no. And then I started making phone calls and find out what, where he worked. And then the lady said that they used to work in Perkins, the restaurant here. So we called Perkins, and they said, yeah, he used to work over here, but he doesn't work here no more. And then we didn't know what to do, so we tried there. But over there, somebody told me that I think he's working for the railroad tracks, So I found out, I called the place and I asked for him, and they say, yeah, he works here, but he's not here right now. And I said, will you please leave him a message to call me, And because he knew where Casa Medina was. He used to come, but I didn't remember him. So he called about half an hour later. He called me, and I told him he said, I'll be there right away. So he went there, he came there, and then when he came in, he saw there, oh man, they hugged, and I'll tell you, that was so cool, to see them hugging and talking there. And before we met him, that day that we didn't find him, you didn't find him that day, took to the day. The father asked me where he could find a hotel to stay. And I said, yeah, I got a good one for you. And he said, okay. I said, you're going with us. You're going to stay with us at my house. And he said, no. I said, yes, you're staying with us. So I brought him here in the house, we fixed dinner and then he was talking there about his wife. I said, you know what? Here's the phone, call your wife. He said, no, that costs money or that. I said, no, call your wife because now she's worrying about your son, now she's going to worry about you. See how you're doing if you got here. That's all. She called and, explaining, she called, she even talked to us. And the next day, that's when we went to the store again and we started searching for him again. And that's how, that's how we found him. We called all those places. And then after that, that kid that we found the father, he calls us for Mother's Day, Father's Day, Christmas time. He's always in touch. And he called her mom and he called me Pop. And his father too from Mexico. Every Christmas we sent each other cards. The mother passed away not too long ago now, and the father is pretty sick too. But it's been a really, really nice connection.
It's my son from Mexico.
If someone asked you to describe your ethnicity or race, what would you call yourself? Spanish, Puerto Rican, Hispanic, Latino?
Puertorriqueño.
And thinking about kind of traditions and religion and stuff, does religion play, or church activities play any part in your life?
It did. Before, I was really, really involved in the church, Catholic church. I was really involved. But then when my wife left, and then I met her, they threw me out of the church. They said, you don't belong here no more. No, they didn't say that, but I used to go to church after that, but you cannot participate in anything. And then I said to myself, well, what's the use to go to church when you cannot participate, you cannot this, you cannot have no communion. And then, like 2 years we didn't go to church. And then I started going again. And then one time the priest stand up and say, I don't know why some people don't go and have communion. And I said, that's for me. I quit going again.
How about politics? Do any politicians or political events stick out to you?
I was involved in political like 2 to 3 years ago, yeah. I was really involved with the Democrat Party. I used to do a lot of running around, supporting like Ken Salazar, when he was running, I supported him a lot. And we had a rally here in Longmont, and I was the one that introduced him to the rally. And I went to different caucus, and I was there, and I was really involved in my store. I used my store like an office for the Democrat. We used to do, we used to get together there, call people, and election day we used to have drivers there, pick the people, take them to the poll. Yeah, I did get out involved, but I quit. No more. I got tired of that. But I still, I still. I support the people who's running. I don't care if the Democrat or the Planet. If the people, think they're going to do right, I do that.
Were you involved at or aware of the Chicana Movement of the late 60s and 70s? How do you feel that affected Puerto Ricans?
Well, the thing is, that like me, a lot of people don't think I'm Puerto Rican. They think I'm Mexican. So a lot of people, sometimes people came to the restaurants, where you from? What part of Mexico you from? I say Chihuahua. I used to tell them Chihuahua. But a lot of people thought I was Mexican. Mm-hmm. But I've always been involved with Mexican. Always since since I first came to the United States. When I was working in the tree farm, everybody was Mexican. I was only one or two Puerto Rican, all the other one was Mexican. And in Chicago, I was involved with Mexican people. Even there, I tried to help them. And when I got here, that's when I got to know a lot of them, you know, and though a lot of the words that they say, I don't understand. I didn't understand. A lot of say that I say, they don't understand, you know. But then I started learning, and that's how you know my business grew, because I started asking questions, ask them, I mean, what they like, and you know, for me to bring to the store, and they tell me, can you get this, can you that, and that's really how the store grow. We have a communication, and you know, I treat people right. I treat people the way I like to treat it. So that, you know, that helped me a lot. I met a lot of nice people in that store. I mean, I feel bad sometimes because I'm walking down the street and people say, "Hola, Mike, ¿cómo está?" And I don't remember who they are. So, you know, I feel kind of bad. But, you know, you meet so many people and they remember your face, but you don't remember, you know. Mm-hmm.
What do you think are the beauties and positive features of Hispanic culture today?
Hmm?
What's good about Hispanic culture today?
Well, you know, I think it had come a long way. I think it had come a long way because, first of all, I mean, now you see, you know, the Peruvian, they celebrate the day, they got the Cinco de Mayo, all that stuff, but before there was nothing like that, you know. And you know, with the multicultural plan, I was involved from the beginning. It's like 12 years ago that we started that. And we got to get different cultures together. We have an event that we celebrate in October, and I think right now there's like 15 different groups that participate in that group. You know, there's Chinese, there's Indian, Peruvian, Mexican, there are, I mean, I think there are like 12 or more different groups that participate in that. And we get together and we have an event and everybody participate. They bring their own food, you know, from their country, the dances for their country. And it is a beautiful, beautiful thing. I really, really enjoy that. And I was part of that, you know, that to started that.
Do you see any drawbacks or setbacks to Hispanic culture today? Anything that?
No, I think it's going forward. I don't think it's no, nobody's going to step back now. I mean, we on the move right now. Latino are on the move. Yeah. I mean, right now, I mean, Obama got elected by the Latino. So, you know, he's there because we did it. So, you know, that's to show you right there. And now everybody's looking at the Latino now. You know, everybody wants to vote. So, you know, everybody's they're changing the way of thinking about Latino right now. And I remember one time there was, by 5 years, you know, some political people, they had I don't know, they met together, I don't know what they call it, but they called me to speak. And they were there, you know, talking about immigration. I think it was something about immigration, because I got involved with immigration pretty good too. And they were talking this and that. And when I talk, I said, the last thing I say to them, I said, you know what? It's for only one day, all the Latino people stop working, they don't go to work and do nothing. What do you think is going to happen to this country? It will paralyze. I say, nobody will be able to move. And some of them even stand up and applaud me because, you know, it's the truth. It's the truth. I mean, Latinos are doing most of the work in this country. I mean, the dirty work, let's put it that way.
Do you remember the shootings of 2 young Latinos in Longmont in 1980 and
Yes.
the founding of El Comite?
Yes, I do remember that. Yeah, I do remember that, and that was a sad, sad thing that happens, and I guess, it's something that happens. But what I know, it was a rookie policeman that was working, and maybe he didn't know what he was doing, and that happened. But yeah, it was. That's how El Comité got started. After that, get communication and do the right thing, because there's bad and good in every race. I mean, nobody's perfect, and I know that. I know there's a lot of Latinos that do wrong things, but most of them do the right thing, because like we had immigration, we had groups, and there was a fellow from California, white fellow, and he said, no, but Mexican come here to do this and come with that. I said, they come over here to do better, help the family, raise the kids, try to make it a living. And that is that. And we had like 7 meetings altogether. By the end of the 7th one, he was in our favor. The guy that was against everything. He understood, because the thing that about immigration is ignorance. People doesn't know, and that race, discrimination come from way, way, way back, and before. I remember when I was a kid, when I came to the United States, I was like 15 years old, but I was a kid, and they see kids playing over there, and the parent, hey, don't play with that kid. I mean, but the kid, no. Kids are kids, and they play together. They don't know anything about race, color, and I think that it's ignorance. That's the whole thing.
Do you think there's still discrimination today against Hispanics?
That will never go away. Yeah, it's still there, but it's not like it used to be. I mean, it's much, much, much better.
It's my understanding that you worked with a lot of famous baseball players, or translating. Tell us a little bit about that and people you might have met there.
Well, I love baseball. That's my favorite sport. And in 1991, I got involved with the minor league, the Denver Surfers. There's the minor league in Denver, and I got involved with them, and I got to meet the general manager, and somehow we connected together. We really, really connected. And he used to he gave me free pass to go to the game, and he wanted me to go and meet the players, so he took me to meet the players, and he wanted me to because there was a lot of Spanish players there too, and he wanted me to help him understand more the Spanish players and explaining, do this and do that, don't do that, and then that's how I got involved. And I used to bring the players over here for dinner. I mean, for a lot of dinners out of us, especially the minor league guys. I brought them couple times over here to the house, and then so when they decided to bring a major league here, so I really got involved. I did a lot of speak for them, and I went to the different rallies. I did a lot of things with them, and then since I was involved with the surfers, I got involved with the major league, and I volunteer and to translate for the like Vinny Castilla, Armando Reynoso, Andres Galarraga, Nelson Liriano. I mean, there were quite a bit, and I did that like for 5 years, or 5 or 6 years, and I used to every time they need an interview with the TV or the radio and stuff like that, I translate for them, or the newspaper, especially the newspaper, the radio. And I used to go to spring training every year, sir. And to meet meet the player, especially the young guys, the one that they just sign up. And one time I remember this, I went to a room and there was like 5 of them together, talking, and when I got there, one started crying. He said, I want to go home. I miss my home. I miss my family. And it was, I said, but I explained it to them, but this could be your future. You had to do this. You had to do it for you. You had to do it for your family. And I talked to all of them. I used to do that every year. Especially try to talk to the young kids, the Spanish one. And then we talked their life for an hour, and then at the end I said, you know what? Let's go get some pizza. And he said, oh, let's go. So I got in prison. Then after that, everybody was happy.
So for people living 50 to 100 years from now, what would you like them to know about Hispanics in Boulder County today?
Well, I tell them, Spanish people got a big, put in the Boulder County, because there's a lot of Spanish people in Boulder County right now, and they are, they doing, like I say, they do the work, construction, they do the cleaning, restaurant. You go to a restaurant, 90% of the people that work in restaurants today, they're Spanish, Latino. It's just like a hotel, the same thing. And construction, the same thing. And farmers, ranch, same thing. So, they have a good input in I believe in Boulder County, and I think it's going to get bigger, because, like I say, the American people are realizing how important the labor of the Latino people is, and they're not afraid to work. They do any kind of work you give them. They do it. So this even the big company now, they hire more Latino than nothing else, because they know how good they are.
Do you have anything else that you'd like to talk about that we haven't covered, or anything else to say?
No, the thing that I say is that I love Longmont. Longmont's a good city. I like to live here. Boulder County, of course. I don't get out more get out most of Longmont. I stay here most of my time here. And with the business, I was there 10, 12 hours a day working up there. But I believe that the Latino over here is going to improve. They're going to contribute more to the county. They're going to do a better work. And I think the people should realize, the Latino people do more good than bad. Like I say, they're bad and good in every race. But I just hope and pray to God that, the people try to understand more the culture of the Spanish people, and try to know, what the desire is, that most of them are here to raise their family, take care of their family, get a good education, because today, education is the only way to get you out of, I believe the education is the main thing, not just for the Latino, for every person, education. So I just hope that the young kids understand that if they want to get ahead, get a good education, because that's the only one. I think if I had a good education, I think I could have been a president. Because, I work really, really, really hard. And the kids had to work really hard to get education, and listen to your father and mother, and respect your teachers, and you will be okay. You will make it.
Salvador, did you have any questions you want to test?
No, everything's cleared up.
Okay. All right. Well, we thank you for your time, Miguel, and we really appreciate this. This is going to help describe history to Latinos in Boulder County, and it's going to be a great contribution to the project.
No,
Thank
but
you.
thank you for coming by. Thank you, everybody.